it's me again. Okay, today I want to talk about the rainbow family of living light and my experience in going to rainbow gatherings. First off, I'm not like a representative or anything like that, and anyone who claims to be, do not believe them. The rainbow family is the world's largest non-organization, around since the early 70s as a counter-movement to the war that was going on. And if I could size it up in a nutshell, it would really be about peace, love, and light. As corny as that may sound, or people might even make fun of it, and that's fine. I am currently in South Florida, and I have not been to any rainbow gatherings here. I did used to attend drum circle gatherings when I lived in Southern California, and they were held at this nude beach, actually. It's not uncommon to see some nudity at a rainbow gathering, and do not make that out to be dirty or pervy or anything like that. That is a very uptight and, oh, where's my fig leaf kind of mentality, okay? There are places in the world that do not have this level of, like, they have to make it always sexual somehow, but yet if we were to go to some tribe somewhere else in the world where they're wearing a loincloth at best, if that, you would not find guys walking around with boners because a pair of titties walked by. That's very American, okay? We're so bombarded with porn and whatever here, but yet we're really sexually repressed, I can tell. There was a woman who wrote an interesting article once about visiting nude beaches around the world, and her most negative comments were really about American nude beaches. Well, hi, sweetie. Miss Wishbone the Adorabella, my pup, is here. That's her little squeaky toy. So if you hear that, that's what's going on down below. Okay, so I was born in Southern California, and while I was out there as a young adult, my early 20s, I met someone who asked if I was a part of the rainbow family, and I didn't know what that was, actually. I had not heard of that. And she said, "Oh, it's your family. You must come with me. You're going to love it." Really what it was a full moon drum circle, and they would meet every month at the same place. My experience was very positive. What I arrived finding was that upon getting there, I ended up parking next to this Volkswagen van with cute little curtains, and I heard a banjo inside, and a man was singing, "She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes." I thought, oh, okay, this was sweet. And to get down to the site, you have to really want it, because it is at the base of a very steep cliff, and it's right on the beach, the Pacific Ocean. And upon going down there, I found some wood, and I took it with me, and when I arrived, what I saw was maybe a few dozen people. There was someone who seemed self-designated at stoking and feeding the fire. Someone else seemed to be off gathering the wood. The tide was coming in. People just seemed to get together without any main instruction and started digging a huge trench around this bonfire. And when the water came in, it filled that trench, going around the fire like a moat. People just seemed very cooperative. I gave them the wood, and you would have thought I brought steak or gold, right? They were very appreciative. Another thing I noticed was it was very family-oriented. So some of the kids were running around naked. They were with their moms and dads. There's clothes people. I right away somehow got the impression that alcohol was looked down on. I didn't hear any blatant commands saying don't drink it or whatever, but it just seemed to be something I picked up on, and later found out through talking with people that the belligerence and the assholeness that goes along with the boozing is the problem. Now, what was happening around that time, word was getting out about the Rainbow family, and there were some locals and looky-loos who were curious, and they wanted to show up. Well, what happened, they showed up with their liquor, their trash, which they left behind, their attitudes, and their violence. And they also tried to make it out to be some sort of meat market thing. They really had the wrong idea. So what the Rainbow family did to counter that, they started meeting at a different location that only insiders were privy to, and they continued to do that for a while until the curiosity died down with the looky-loos, and then they went back to their regular site they enjoyed. The site is quite beautiful. Let me tell you, the moon coming up in the east, down at the base of the cliff, was completely shadowed. The only thing going for light was the fire. But as that moon started coming up high in the sky, and the shadow of the mountain, which was out over the ocean, starts receding back, lighting up the water, the waves, then the beach, then us. And then it was so bright, and it was like, there was just something very powerful about it. I also really love music and acoustic instruments, and with drumming there's something very primal. I mean, drums, percussion, it is the world's heartbeat. And if you start playing a rhythm anywhere in the world, you will see, like, even a toddler who's uninstructed will start bobbing. They find the beat. Okay? Music is the world's language. The experience was just very positive. There was some reefer in the air. You could smell that, you know, some nice aromatherapy. Everyone was very laid back. It really just seemed to be lots of smiles and friendliness. I have read some things since I've been in South Florida that were negative about the Rainbow family, and it had to do with death and some violence. And I will tell you right now, those are not traditional Rainbow values. These are public events that are free. Anyone can attend. But one bad seed, you know, gets in the bunch, and then it gave the whole family a bad name. One picture says 1,000 words. If you just do a Google search for Rainbow family and look at the images, it's going to really explain it all. I mean, what you're going to see are colorful people from all walks of life and all ages smiling and getting along. Some of you will judge them because you're going to find the typical hippie look. I prefer the term bohemian for myself, although I'm often called a hippie, and I'm not offended by that. But it's sometimes meant derogatory, and there are people that have a prejudice against a certain look in the same way they have prejudice against certain races or even a gender. This is just how it is, okay? But I think a better approach to gauging and judging people is by their behavior rather than their outfit, their hairstyle, how they're doing their makeup. I mean, you know, call me crazy. So, I did search out drum gatherings in South Florida, and I found some, you know, that I was able to enjoy, but really, it was the first time I saw people charging for a drum circle, okay? And there was drinking and belligerence. Now, I'm not condemning alcohol. Look, I don't drink anymore, but that's because I'm an alcoholic. And back when I was introduced to the Rainbow family over 20 years ago, when I was in my early 20s still, I was still a boozer, but I did not booze while there, and I totally enjoyed myself. But personally, my experience with alcohol is that most people's lives would be better without a substance that can make you have a blackout, but yet be up and functioning and driving heavy machinery or whatever. You know, helps for me to poke fun at this, but it is a serious matter, and I can see why that alcohol can be a problem at various gatherings. I love live music, and I used to go to so many concerts, and one thing I will tell you with heavy metal, they would often stop serving alcohol after a certain hour because people start getting rowdy, and I mean not just rowdy but violent. And what happens is the music is high energy anyway, you know, and it's very active. And I'm not blaming any kind of violent activity on music, just saying the alcohol does not help, okay? And statistics show this. You guys know what I'm talking about, but, you know, you can argue it if you want. Oh yeah, being a drunken, belligerent bastard, oh, that's just great. No, it's not. It's not. And the amnesia part alcohol can do is very concerning. In fact, I don't have children, but if I did, I would be more concerned about my child drinking alcohol than pot. Because guess what, everyone? I've never had one too many bong hits where I don't remember or I have a blackout. I mean, you know, with alcohol, we're going to run into a situation and get yourself into a little trouble, and maybe you won't even remember you have the trouble. Hey, Squeaky! Meet Wishbone the Adorabella if you haven't already. She's a year old this month. She's actually like a miniature brindle pit bull. She's a woman now. She got her period last month for the first time, and she's got titties now. I'm just still kind of like, it's so weird. It happened really fast, the way, you know, but it's just like with people. Once they become fertile, like, stuff starts changing, right? Anyway, I love this little girl. So, I like to go to drum circles. I like the acoustic instruments. I love being outside. I'm an avid nature lover, to say the least. And one thing I really appreciate about the Rainbow family is the idea of being just eco-responsible. You know, cleaning up after yourself, leaving a light footprint. This friend of mine attended a 3-day rainbow gathering in the Ozark Mountains and was really impressed with the fact 20,000 people showed up, and at the end of the 3-day event, it's like nobody was there. They do not leave any trash. And, you know, maybe some grass is trampled from, you know, all the people, but that springs back. And she said they made clay ovens. They also had solar to heat up water. They had some pipe, getting water from a stream. And when they left on the third day, everything was taken down, including the clay ovens, back into the earth, and it's like they weren't even there. Where else could you have an event with 20,000 people with no one as the president or the boss, and they leave it without any trash? Good luck. Good luck with that. So, I have this thing where I absolutely cannot stand litter bugs, and I was like this from a toddler. My mom said it used to bug her because I was always picking up trash, but if we went out, it just bothered me. Even as a toddler, I knew that's not supposed to be there. And I was always very tidy with my own stuff and organized. I mean, I have been consistent with that through the years. And I'm 45 now. I'm going to be 46 in a couple of months. Some things never change, okay? And that's just the core part of who I am. And when I see litter bugs, I say something to them. Oh, yeah. And people want to get violent with you and shit, right? And it's like, what a motherfucker. Here they are, just shitting all over the place, and like, someone else will pick up after me. Fuck you. So I have these these litter Nazi fantasies where, like, this is where I get a little violent. So I don't claim to subscribe to all the Rainbow Family's beliefs altogether. But I'm going to take the fucking litter bug by the back of the head, that's right, and make them pick the trash up with their mouth and then right into the ground, maybe step on it with my foot, put their head out like it's a cigarette, and then call it a day. That's just a fantasy. That's just a fantasy. So anyway, I haven't acted on it yet, but I think that if we did confront people with this sort of thing when we see them, it does make them kind of think twice, okay? Maybe not, you know, but in some cases, yes. And it's not necessarily that they change because, ooh, they're conscious of these things now in a way that they care. But they don't want to be embarrassed by someone like me confronting them, saying, what the fuck? Another thing I can't stand is going into a public place, finding the water running in the faucet. I want to catch the person and the people doing that. It's like, are you for real? Like, this is such a precious resource, and we won't even get into the fact it's not renewable, okay? But whatever. And some of you can write in and argue that, but I'm going to put your ass in your place. You'll see. But this is where I want to be like all Nazi-like again, right? Where it's like, oh, no, you don't. And, you know, of course, if I were to see the person doing that, I would just be like, why are you leaving that on? I would say something more like that. And then just kind of go from there. And, you know, I'm sure there would be someone telling me to fuck off or whatever. And I'd have a few choice things to say, that's fine. But again, once you start confronting people and shining the light on certain problems, some people will kind of straighten up a bit, you know, or become more aware of it. And some just, you know, they keep on being dicks. Okay, so, the Rainbow Family. Love the gatherings. My experience has been positive. I would say go to an event before you judge it. Okay? But if you love happy-go-lucky, live and let live types in the nature who do their best to work on a barter system, I help you, you help me. It's not a money exchange, you know. And I like the idea that it's a peaceful event and it's family oriented. You can take your kids, you can take your pets. They're public events, they're free. They tend to meet in forests and parks and things like that. And see for yourself, you know. And the drum circle, if you just like drumming, you will enjoy it for that reason. But the rhythms often they do tend to be African rhythms, is what I've been told. I also well, I practice the art of Oriental dance, ballet dance, and I love the Arabic drum rhythms with the doumbeki, and I own a couple. I have a hammered copper one and also an aluminum one. But the drumming, it's just so primal, and I've always been very attracted to it. I also like the deep tone of the percussion. In fact, I find very high-pitched sounds like very aggravating and annoying. So I am a peaceful person who lives my life in a way that I don't want to infringe on others. However, there have been lines crossed where I have snapped and I have had violent outbursts. It's true. And I will tell you that also I will say that it was violent people can bring that out, and disrespectful people. Yeah, so it's true. I've slapped some people and more. In fact, I was arrested for a violent outburst I had, and the case was dropped. It never made it to court, but let me tell you what happened. This is what happens. You're going to end up on the internet. You're going to have a mugshot. It won't matter if you were innocent. It won't matter if it was a misunderstanding. And whatever little statement they put on there saying you did, it's going to be there. And the world will see that, and they won't know what to think. Well, they're probably going to think what it says, but they need to understand that people with those mugshots on there were not necessarily convicted of that particular accused crime. Like in my case, I said it never even made it to court. But I had a violent outburst, this is true. Lines were crossed, I felt terribly disrespected, and it did not go over well for the other person. I'll just say that. So, the best solution I have found for myself in keeping with my peaceful thing, like my life normally is if the person is disrespectful or being so difficult that it's like you want to, you know, just get them the fuck out of your life. You will not be able to slap the sense of them or control them with corporal punishment. It might be an immediate release for you if you do that, but I'm not convinced you necessarily get a long-term results. It might get some immediate compliance of sorts. I feel different today about corporal punishment than I did growing up. I grew up with it, and with violence, a lot of violence. In fact, I learned violence in the Bible Belt. It is the most violent place I've been. It's where I've learned how to be violent, and I have traveled to various outside countries, and I've lived from coast to coast. I have an educated opinion, and the most hostility I have seen has been in the Bible Belt, and some of the most violent people I've met have religious backgrounds. So see, I'm atheist now. I once believed, but now I don't, so there's hope for you too, okay? I have some videos you can check out about why I'm atheist, actually. But that's a separate thing. In fact, there are some interesting studies that show that religions, well, cultures with religion as their backbone had higher cases of rape, violence, and incest. Something to think about. And there were societies that were not influenced heavily by religion that had a tremendous amount of peace. So if you think religion instills values and morals, you are mistaken and need to re-evaluate that and objectively research it. But I will tell you right now from experience, I'm going to pass on the whole holy roller thing. And once I gave the Bible a chance and was reading, I was appalled. I was just appalled. It's very contradictory, too. Again, this could turn into another video. But really, it is tying in with the Rainbow family and their mission to spread the love and the light. And that is something that is good for everyone, okay? We know that there are times when defense is necessary, but there are many times when violence is used just to offend and harm, and is not to protect yourself, okay? So I do like being around the energy of peace-loving people that are living and letting others live without harsh and unfair judgments because of how they look, maybe the way they talk, okay? I really like diversity and the different ethnicities coming together, the different ages, and the genders merging. I have been in groups before where there was a natural segregation of the women and the men at parties, barbecues, gatherings, versus gatherings that were more co-ed and mingled and interaction of both genders and all the ages. And in fact, I've been to plenty of gatherings where even the ages were segregated. The kids are at this little table here and the elders are here and so it's really quite nice to see it all intermingled in a way, and everyone is treated like a human being and not like shoved into some sort of category based on age or gender or their preference in clothes or hairstyles. I'm like semi-retired now, but my background is in print advertising as a graphic designer and desktop publisher, and I have a background in pre-press and working with printers and preparing printing plates, and back in the day when we used drafting tables and all this stuff before computers. And where the fuck was I going with that? I had a point. I was... what the fuck? I really don't know what I was going to say. I know, yeah, I was really leading into this big point I wanted to make, right? I really don't know what it was, but it'll come back to me. These things happen, you know? And it's okay. But, well, really, yeah, what it is, like, the, advertising can be very slimy if you haven't figured it out, and manipulative. And it was starting to feel like I wasn't okay with it anymore. I was just promoting a lot of stuff I didn't really believe in, but I'm helping these companies push their products so consumers grab them off the shelf. But it's also very deceptive. You know, and it really, I really just had to get away from it, okay? So, today, I live very simply. I have a shoestring budget by choice. I have highly technical skills, but I choose to kind of check out of all of that, and I have this plan that if I could eliminate debt, I could make less money and not have to invest as much time making money to just staying in debt, paying off debt, acquiring more stuff, you know, it's like the wheel, running on the wheel. I'm over it, and the rat race, even if you win it, you're still just a rat. And so I wanted to just simplify my life, eliminate debt, so I was able to do that, pay off my house. Yeah, I'm a hippie all right, but guess what? I have a house and it's paid for. So I can be responsible, just so you know, everyone. Yes, that's right, there are responsible hippies out there. Breaks your little myth, I know, but who else do you know that has property paid for? Ha 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 ha. So yes, and my goal was, it's not what you make, but it's what you don't spend, okay? And I already have enough stuff. I don't need to keep acquiring more. So anyway, I have this shoestring budget and live very simply, and I'm rambling. And I've ended up talking about this, and I started with the rainbow family. I'm a talker! External thinking. It's an ENTJ thing. Google it. So, we're the talkers of the personality types. It's just how it is. Okay, I'm going to wind this down. And thank you for listening to me ramble and being forgetful and getting off track. Feel free to write in with your own experience about drum circles in general, and what it's been for you, and pretty much what the environment was like and where were you at. Also feel free to write in and comment if you haven't been to one but you have developed some ideas about what you think it is. That's fine too. Even if your opinion is negative, you have the right to express it. Knock yourself out. Okay? So everyone is welcome, and thank you, and good night.